perimeter of a polygon. The definition of perimeter is the distance around an object, and perimeter is measured in length. So first let's start with a couple of real-life examples of where you might actually want to know the perimeter of something. If I was going to build a garden in my yard, I would definitely have to put up a fence because we have so many deer, and I need to know the perimeter or the distance around the outside of my garden in order to know how much fence I needed. If I wanted to put maybe a flower garden in my yard and shape it like a hexagon, and then I wanted to line it or border it with landscape timbers, just pieces of wood, I'd measure the distance around the outside of the hexagon in order to know how much wood to buy. If I was going to make a picture frame, maybe decorate it with something, I might need to know the distance around the outside of my frame in order to know how much paint or how many sequins or something that I needed. And then finally, you might think about perimeter if you were trying to figure out how many people could sit at a table. Here's a table, and you might measure the length or the width of the table in order to figure out how many chairs could fit around the outside of the table. So for all of these examples, you can see that you are measuring the distance around the outside of something when you're finding the perimeter. The big idea when finding perimeter is that you can find the perimeter of any polygon, and polygon just means a shape with a closed shape with straight sides, by adding the length of its sides. We're going to do this 4 different ways in this video, and you're going to see all different ways to find the perimeter. So the first way that we can do it is by counting. I have here a polygon, a closed shape, and I'm going to count the length of each of its sides. In this case, we see that it's been drawn like on graph paper, and we don't know the exact size of these squares, so we just call the length of one side of a square a unit, and then these would be square units. So I'm going to count the top length of this shape, and I see that it's 1, 2, 3 units long. So this side right here is 3. There's a short piece right here that's 1 unit long, another short piece that's 1 unit long, 1, 2, 3 units on the side here, 1, 2, 3 units on the bottom, 1, 2 units on the side. Keep going around for 1 unit here, 1 and 2 units right there. And then in order to find the perimeter, I'm going to add up the length of each of those sides. So 3 plus 1 is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So the perimeter of this polygon is 16 units long. We can do the same over here. This is sort of modeling like we have square tiles that we have built this shape out of. So we're going to count the length of each of the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces on this side. One length here, 1 length here, 1, 2 lengths there, 1 here, 1, 2 lengths right there on the short side. This side, right hand side, 1, 2, 3, 4 lengths, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units long for the top. And then in order to find the total perimeter, I just add up all those amounts. 5 plus 4 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we get 20 as the perimeter of this shape. Let's double check. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 units for this perimeter. Finally, remember whenever you are finding the perimeter to not forget the units. In this case, we didn't have a specific measurement or a specific unit like meters or centimeters, so we just call these, we just say that they're measured in units. The second way that you can find the perimeter is by measuring. If you have a rectangle here and you've been asked to find the perimeter in inches, then you would just want to measure each side. So I'm going to use my inch ruler. I'm going to start it at the 0 because this ruler has a 0 marked. And this top edge is 11 inches long. This edge is 7 inches long. We have 11 inches. And this edge is 7 inches. So now I'm going to add them together. 11 plus 11 would make 22, the top and the bottom. 7 plus 7 would make 14, and then 22 plus 14 is 36 inches. So the perimeter, or the distance around the outside of this rectangle, is 36 inches. I can do the same thing with a triangle. I'm going to measure the length of each of the sides. This time though, I'm asked to find the perimeter in centimeters, so I want to be sure I use that side of my ruler. And it looks like it is 25 centimeters tall, the height of it. This side is called the hypotenuse, and it is exactly 30 centimeters long. And the base of the triangle is 19 centimeters tall. So now in order to find the perimeter, I just need to add each of those lengths up. 30, 25, and 19. 5 plus 9 is 14, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the length, the perimeter, the distance around the outside of the triangle is 74 centimeters. Sometimes you are not asked to measure, but you're given all or certain or just some of the sides of a shape, and we can use what we know about polygons in order to help us solve these problems. For this one, it's a pentagon, a 5-sided polygon, and I have been given all the length of all sides, so in order to find the perimeter, I just have to add them up. So I see that 5 plus 3 makes 8, and 4 plus 4 makes 8, and I know 8 plus 8 is 16, 17, 18, 19. So the perimeter, I just added each of those lengths up. The perimeter of the pentagon is 19 feet. The next one is a rectangle, and we know that in a rectangle, opposite sides are equal. So the top and the bottom are going to be equal lengths, and the sides are going to be equal lengths. So even though I'm not given this length, I know what it is because I know how a rectangle works. So this length is 6 centimeters, and the opposite side of this one is, 6 meters, and the opposite side of this one is 3 meters, because opposite sides in a rectangle are equal. And now in order to find the perimeter, you're just going to add them up. 6 plus 6 is 12, 3 plus 3 is 6, 12 plus 6 is 18. Whoops, look at those units. Needs to be 18 meters. Next, in order to find the perimeter of a square, I need to think about what I already know about a square. And I know that in a square, all sides are equal. So if I have the length of just one side, I can know what the lengths are of all the other sides. This one is 5 yards, 5 yards, and 5 yards. So to get the perimeter, I'm going to add up the sides. 5, 10, 15, 20. So the perimeter of this square is 20 yards. And finally, you might see another polygon. And if you are told that your polygon is a regular polygon, that just means that all sides are equal, like in the square. So if you are given one side and told that it's regular, you can know that all the lengths are the same. This has 6 sides. It's a hexagon, so I can do 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, or just 4 times 6, because there are 6 sides. So this polygon is 24, 4 times 6 millimeters. The perimeter is 24 millimeters. And finally, you might be given some problems that you need to figure out the perimeter where you are not given a diagram. So let's practice solving a couple of those. I bought a square tray. The top side of it is 8 inches long, and then I need to find the perimeter. Well, even if you're not given a diagram, one of the smartest things to do is to draw a diagram. So draw a square, and it says that the top of it is 8 inches long. If we know that it's a square, we know that all sides of the square are equal, so each side is going to be 8, and I can do 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, or just 8 times 4. And 8 times 4 is 32, and then I'm measuring in inches, so I'm going to be sure to use my units. So the perimeter of this tray would be 32 inches. Here, it says find the perimeter of this rectangle, and then all it gives us is its dimensions, the length and the width. So I'm going to draw a rectangle, And it doesn't really matter which one in this case you decide to be the length and which one you decide to be the width. I see that the length is bigger than the width, so I'm going to use my long side here, 12 meters, to represent the length, and this side to be the width, 5 meters. In a rectangle, opposite sides are equal, so this one's going to be 12 meters and this one's going to be 5 meters. Now I can add up all the sides. 12 plus 12 is 24, 5 plus 5 is 10, and 24 plus 10 is 34, and the units are meters. So the perimeter of this rectangle is 34 meters. And finally, in this problem we're going to be given the perimeter and have to work backwards. A stop sign is a regular octagon. Okay, that means that it has 8 sides and all the sides are equal lengths. Its perimeter is 32 inches. What is the length of one side? So we would want to think about, in an octagon with 8 sides, you might even want to draw a model, that every single side is the same length, and when you add up all of those you get 32 inches. So the best way to solve it is to do a division problem. Think about 32 inches divided into 8 equal groups, and you will find that each side would be 4 inches, each side of that octagon, because it's regular. Each side is equal.